101 review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. Sorry for that. I think they have a glitch, so just give me a minute. I'm
It's all good.
Take two. Sorry for that. Hi, I'm Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is about the books that I read for the
Nope.
last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. She's a marketing strategist and lead generation specialist. None other than Miss Tianna Mamalick.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Welcome, Miss Tiana, once again. And can you please introduce more about yourself, about kindness?
Yeah, my name's Tiana. I am an SEO and ad specialist. I help small businesses with lead generation.
Yes, indeed. And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. Miss Tiana, thank you. And today let's talk about getting started with meta ads. So
Mhm.
let's start with the mindset. Given the constant changes in Meta's algorithm and privacy landscape, what is the core strategic philosophies business should adopt to build resilience and success rather than chasing last month tactic?
Yeah, so that one's a hard one because when it comes to social ads in general, I find it actually really is about what's happening on social as to what you have to focus on for your ads. So, as of right now, people want new, consistent content. So, the algorithm has updated, everything has completely changed on meta ads. And essentially, all you're doing is making sure that your ad assets speak to the person that you need to speak to, and you are constantly changing those assets.
Constantly changing, definitely. With rising CPMS and increased competition, how should businesses fundamentally rethink their funnel and campaign objectives on Meta? Is this era of a pure bottom funnel conversation campaigns ending?
I think it's more about making sure that you know exactly who you're talking to and when you're talking to them. So, because of the changes in how you target on Meta, so it's really just about like broad targeting and letting Meta's algorithm do it. Um, it's more about making sure that the content that your ads have in them is talking to the part of the funnel that you need them to see. Most of the time, I do think with cold audiences, you have to be pretty strategic on social. So, very, very good hooks, very, very engaging content. If you're just trying to convert people who already follow you, you definitely don't need quite as much intensity in your content, but you still want to be very engaging. So, ads used to be a lot more like, we'll put this one photo up or this one video up and we'll talk about the thing that we're selling, and that's good. And that's really just not the case anymore. You kind of have to test multiple different things. And I do think in your content, you actually kind of have to you have to be talking to multiple different people unless you're truly just doing retargeting.
What is the single most common strategic mistake you see businesses of all sizes making their meta ads approach that immediately puts them at disadvantage?
So there's a huge difference between boosting a post and running ads on Meta. Boosting a post, one, will cost you more money because there are fees to boost, especially on like as we've seen on iPhones. So you do have to pay a fee to do that. And when you boost a post, you're just boosting to a broader audience, and it's a little bit different with ads because in ads you're paying to a wider audience, but you have more control over who, what, and how they see those things, but you also tell Meta what your goal is specifically. So, do you want people to fill out a form? Do you want them to become an email sign up? You tell Meta what that is, and then instead of Meta just saying like, "Hey, I want people who just look at this video," you'll get people who actually take that action because they do. Meta's got 20 years of data on us, probably a bit more than that at this point for some people. So
Yes,
they know a lot.
yes,
Yeah. So they know who's
definitely.
doing those things and who's clicking the things. So if we tell them, I need somebody who clicks or purchases off Meta, this is actually a choice you can make. They have like a whole group of people that are more likely to purchase off Meta than someone who is more of a looky loo and has never made a purchase before. So
Miss Tiana, what is the single most common strategic mistake you see businesses of all sizes making their meta ads approach that immediately puts them for something else?
you have to tell people who you this is hard because in your ads you have to fit a lot into. Sometimes you have 3 seconds, sometimes you have 6 seconds, but after your hook you kind of have to like give them the whole kit and caboodle right in your ad. So like if it has to be like subtle, who you are, what you are, who you serve, you have to make sure that's all in the same ad. A lot of people will a lot of people are running their ads on Meta still the old way that we used to run ads, and it's like you just can't show one single product anymore and expect that to work.
Yes, definitely. So in the age of AI powered ad delivery, the creative is the new targeting. What are the hallmarks of a platform native creative that is built specifically to stop the scroll and earn engagement on Facebook and Instagram feeds?
Yeah, it's still all about that hook. So, and there's so many people teaching a good way to do this. It doesn't have to be crazy. Some hooks are as simple as like swiping your hand in front, 2 seconds of, or like half a second of swiping your hand in front. Some of them could be loud noises. Although I do have to say, if you're using noises, 50% of people, I included, do not watch social media with sound. So you want to be a little bit careful with noise based hooks. But if you make a movement at the beginning of your ad, that's enough for it to be a hook. It doesn't need to be this big production hook that's like, I'm, changing from one outfit to the other. It doesn't need to be that advanced. It's really just like in one ad that I had that worked really well on Meta, I moved a blanket when I sat down. And that was a really good eye engaging based hook. So it's with the way that AI is working. I don't personally use AI in a lot of the ads. I do feel like I prefer more control. But the one nice thing about using AI, because Meta in the ad platform has the option to use like AI updates, it will help you change your creative more often. But I do think it's still a little wonky, and I wouldn't 100% just hope and pray that it works, because there are moments where it will put stuff up and you're like, ooh. And we don't want it to look like AI, right? Like that's people are so against that right now.
Miss Tiana, how do you structure disciplined creative testing framework that moves beyond guessing and systematically identifies what resonates with your audience?
Yeah, on Meta, it's changed so much. So if you had asked me 6 months ago, how do I set up my ads? How do I make creative? How do I test creative? It used to be you'd have multiple different ad campaigns and it would just go and you'd put one and then you'd have a testing campaign and then it'd be another one. Honestly, at this point, I just put everything in the same campaign. I test 3 to 5 at the same time. The two that are lowest performing get turned off, and we're switching out new ads less than every week. And it's really about like if you think of how you use Meta or you're on Instagram and you're scrolling, you don't want to see the same thing 5 times. That is like that used to be what it was. You can see the brand the 5 times, but you can't see the same video 5 times anymore. So people really want to see, it's almost like you're having a conversation with them within your ad assets and your ad copy. So those videos that you're setting up, show them different parts of the brand within those assets, but you have to keep them moving now.
Miss Tiana, tell us your upcoming book that you want to tell us.
Yeah, so I am releasing a book in June 2026. I'm writing a book about lead generation for small businesses. So it's kind of like a handbook. It's very sassy. And it essentially tells you exactly what I would do if I was starting a business again, on how to use search marketing. And we do also talk about meta ads and how we would use paid ads to get more people to your website and essentially turn those people into leads.
This will be a series, Miss Tiana, or well, standalone. But
I We're starting with a standalone, but we'll see how people like it because it's gonna be it's got a theme to it, that's for sure.
yes, looking forward for that, Miss Tiana. And please do come over and let's talk about again once you publish it. And with detailed targeting eroding, how should businesses build and leverage their own first party data assets?
You have to build your audiences right in Meta. The more in platform you get, the better. If you have lead or email lists, those are really good to use too. You can upload them right in. With the privacy that is coming into play, I do think ads are going to continue to change quite significantly, and we'll probably see, I know people want to see more privacy, like, or more personalization in ads, but as we turn off privacy, it's really hard for advertisers to make these ads super personal to you when you don't want us to know anything about you. So it's a very, very interesting kind of sector that we're going into right now, where you want to own as much data as you can. So if you're building your audiences, build them right in the platform. Make sure that you have everything kind of set up as best as you can, but follow all the rules. And if you have to go a bit more broad, then definitely do broad.
Broad indeed. So, what's your process for developing authentic ad concept that feels like content, not ads? How do you balance brand polish with raw, engaging storytelling?
So, when we start working with a new business, we always start with what's currently working on their social. And we take some of those pieces and then we look at what's currently working in the industry that they're in. So, who else is winning at social and what are those pieces? Not ads per se, just general posts. And then sometimes we'll look at supplementary industries as well, like which one of those are working really well, who's kind of got good themes going. And then we take those themes and ideas and turn those into ads. So a lot of the times you think that an ad just needs to be like, here's my product, but it really needs to be more about engagement. Now, it does depend on what your goal is with your ad. If you're just trying to sell a product, you kind of want to introduce the brand. And these are all in the same campaign now. So you're introducing the brand just a little bit, and then you're kind of showing the product, and then you have to show it in multiple different ways, in multiple different uses. You can even go with UGC, so other people saying like, this product is so cool. Those are really great videos. But we always look at like what is working on social right now in that industry, who's doing it best, and how can we make something that outperforms them without copying, because copying too right now is something people are really not into.
Hmm. So, measurement, attribution, and a new reality, Ms. Tatiana. How should smart advertisers redefine performance and ROS in a world of significant iOS attribution laws?
That, yes. Oh, it's a fun one. You got to do as much as you can. Some things just don't connect anymore, but if you can get your purchase data in there or your lead data in, Meta is doing a really good job of auto connecting to CRMs, to different websites. So use what you can. And I know this is probably the silliest thing I will say, but if you need support connecting your website, if this is your first time running Meta ads, if you've never done it before, contact Meta support. Out of all of the ads I run, I do think Meta has the best support. I wouldn't say it's like, 5 star, but it's
But at
it's the best
least,
one. Yeah, but at
yes,
least
at
it's good.
least, at least they respond fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beyond in the platform's metrics, what are the most important off platform signals and business outcomes you triangulate to know if our meta ads are truly working?
We do also look at how people are interacting with the website outside of the ads that we're running. A lot of the times, too, if I have someone doing meta ads, I will also be doing Google ads to do retargeting off of social media. Um, I personally am an SEO specialist, so I care very much about what's happening on the website. So we do try to connect the two pieces a lot of the time. So just because we want to be in platform for Meta doesn't always mean that there isn't a strategy to take them off platform. I do truly believe in building your own audience. We have seen it. There will be shifts in algorithms. There will be changes in what platform is popular at what time. Some, like, if you weren't on the TikTok craze when it first came out, it's a lot harder to grow now. So it's one of those things where you can't always, even though you have paid options, you can't always rely on the platform. So when it comes down to it, like, make sure you're still trying to bring people to your website, or you have a contingency plan to make sure that you have the capacity to have people kind of coming off and like interacting with your website in some way, shape, or form, or like creating those VIP lists, or you got to find a way to do that. Because essentially, like, I mean, Instagram is great, but we all know, like, the reach of Instagram has just plummet is the right word.
Beloved, yes. And Miss Tiana, which one do you recommend, Meta or Google?
Oh, that's such a good question. Um, I think it depends on the industry you're in. So, my kind of quick gut check is always, if someone would commonly search for you and needs you now, you should be on Google Ads. If someone doesn't need you immediately and will do some research, or if they wouldn't be searching for you but would buy your product quickly if they saw it, then you should be on Meta. Because a lot of the times the Google Ads are best when, like, if you're thinking plumbers, like a plumber on Meta Ads would be kind of like, it wouldn't be odd, but you don't need a plumber just because you see an ad for it. That is a Google ad kind of industry. But if you had someone who was doing coaching for Reiki, and you're trying to help them like de-stress their system, a lot of people aren't necessarily searching for that. So you have more room to be like, this is what Reiki is for one ad, and then this is why you need it, and this is how it helps your nervous system. So you can slowly and subtly be like, this is why you need this service. And that is where Meta Ads really, really excels.
Yes, it depends, people. So, marketing strategies and lead generation specialists, what are your short term and long term goals, Miss Tiana?
Short term is to get this book out and done.
Yes.
Long term, I would love to one day have like a whole marketing school going. That's one of my dreams.
Marketing school. Oh, good luck to your goals, Miss Tiana. Hoping for more success. And please do come over and let's talk about your upcoming book once you will formulate it and publish. And what will be your advice for those people out there who want to be like you?
If you want to get into marketing, I would say find someone who's doing it well and just start working with them. Um, while I love school, I've always been a big fan of schooling. When it comes down to marketing, doing is better than learning. You got to do it. I would say that I learned from YouTube University. So even though I have a full marketing degree, everything that I learned, everything that I know how to do, came off of videos and just figuring it out. So you got to get your hands dirty. That's how you're going to be a better marketer. And you really just have to start doing.
Yes, definitely. Keep doing, people, and contact Miss Tiana. Work with her if you want to be like her. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey? And thank you for that advice.
Yes. Okay. So I had to really think of this one. I would say Profit First was one of my favorite books. And the reason being, in school, we don't get taught a lot about business. And when you become an entrepreneur, it's not always really easy to manage your money. And I found that the book was very straightforward. It really helped me figure out like the type of, it's very like, I can take that information and use it in my business tomorrow. So I set up my accounts differently. I you did about 80% of what the book said. But I feel like it's actually made a true, genuine difference in like the revenue that I have and how I manage my business. And I really do feel like it was an easy, well worth it read.
Yes, and thank you for the recommended book, Ms. Tiana. So, how do you successfully integrate Messenger on WhatsApp into a lead gen or sales funnel via ads, and what makes those experiences convert?
Though, if you are doing any messaging or WhatsApp, you need call center type people. So if you have these in place, you want to be answering immediately. It's very, very important. The faster you answer, the better the experience is. So make sure that you have someone who is ready and prepared to manage that actively. And then I would also say it's really important that if you have these messengers and messenger pieces in place, make sure that you are offline calculating which ones actually converted and didn't. I think you can go back into Meta and say, like, this conversation was good and this conversation is bad. And you really want to make sure that you're telling Meta who was worth talking to and who wasn't. Because again, they have so much data on us. If they know who is the right person, they'll find more of those who's.
Yes, for sure. They will look more for those kind of people like your services. Pitfalls and the future, Miss Tiana, was it emerging trend or underutilized meta ads future that you believe will become critical in the next 6 to 12 months?
I it's a feature that I think a lot of people don't use, but you can turn on and off where your ads show in Meta. And certain industries don't do well in certain placements. Like there are some things that are great on stories, but some things just do not convert on a story or on a sidebar ad. Like products are really great on sidebar ads because you can see an image, everybody wants to purchase it, but trying to have your message shared on a sidebar ad is really, really hard if you're doing coaching. So I think it's going to be more important for people to pay attention to where the ads are showing up because not every placement is going to be good for every business.
Yes, definitely. And how are you preparing of the continued evaluation toward AI driven black box campaign management? What skills does a marketer need to cultivate to stay valuable in this environment?
I think we need to start thinking of, I'm going to bring SEO in here for a second, but how SEO is changing on the internet and in the environment of the online marketing space. Um, your ads, your social media, these are no longer just like social tactics. They're also SEO tactics because all of these pieces are being searched for. Maybe not your ads per se yet, but I have a feeling they're going to lean into it. People are using different platforms to search. So you want to make sure that you are kind of being a little bit more platform agnostic on that sense, where your message needs to be the same everywhere. Like it used to be, you could kind of, I don't want to say muck it up a bit, but a lot of people were like, well, we've got one brand here on social and one brand here on our website. And, we talk to people on email, it's a little bit different. It has to be very cohesive now. People are entering from different parts of there's a funnel, but it's more like like merry-go-round. Like people are coming in from all different places, and you need to start thinking about those pieces in each different place. So your ads can't be separate from your social media. And I know people have been yelling this from the rooftops for a long time, but I think it's going to get more and more important as we go. The internet is busy. People are tired. Everyone is exhausted. If you want them to remember your brand or look at your ads and actually purchase something, you need to make sure that that is cohesive for them and easy.
Easy. Yes, definitely easy because people like easy, don't like hard. For small businesses with a limited budget, what is the absolute highest priority, non negotiable first step they must get right to have the chance of success on the platform?
I think that's a I would say make sure that you are being consistent with your content. So, if you have a small budget, ads are probably not the best place for you. You want to be consistent with your ads, but you also want to be consistent with your posting. So, if you don't have a big budget right now, test different posts that are not paid. I know the algorithm kind of stinks right now, and I know that it's not super great for getting you huge giant reach, but you will still get reach. And we all hate seeing the numbers like 500 followers seems small, 600 followers seems small. But if you had a store and 600 people came in 2 months. Like that is all you really need. So we're, taking away the idea that follower count matters as much as we thought it did. It's really not about follower count. It's about how many people do you actually need to come into your world to buy the thing that you need to sell, and who are you helping there. So I always find that like ads are not, they're not a Hail Mary. They're not going to save your business. Ads are not a great place if you have no budget. Ads are really good to fuel a fire when you've already figured out what your sales, funnel and cycle is. Like if you know how people are buying from you, if people are already buying, take the ads, turn it up, but don't use ads if you're not ready for that yet.
Yes, simple but empowering answer, Miss Tiana. And before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too, comedy 101 third season, and food 101 in sixth season. Geography 101, Love Letters, Movie 101, Review Music 101, fourth season, Science 101, Sex 101, second season of My Baby Podcast, Law 101, Mental Health 101, Bible Versus 101, and Entrepreneur 101 coming this December. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss Tiana, looking ahead, if Meta continues to lose signal, what is the enduring, unshakable value of advertising on the platforms that will keep business investing there, regardless of the tracking challenges?
I think the platforms will always find a way to track you. No matter how much we want our privacy to be held, we have to remember that these are public platforms, and the goal of them is to give you a good experience, keep you on them. But they do make money off of ads, and I do genuinely feel like they will find a way to track you. So if we keep turning off privacy, they're just going to find different ways. So it'll be based on what you like. Like right now, it's already happening based on the videos that you like, the things that you interact with. They're not going to turn off those pieces. If there's a will, there's a way. And with money involved, the ad companies will always find a way.
Yes, definitely, Miss Tianna Mamalick. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your upcoming book, your business, your advocacy, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Yes. So you can find me at smbmarketingschool.com. The book will be out in June. I'm really, really excited. It's definitely going to be a unique way to look at lead gen.
Yes, people, let's support Miss Tiana Mamalick because if you support her for sure, more and more empowering advocacy will rise. So, Miss Tiana, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Monica people, see you soon.